this is Alison, holistic lifestyle coach and women's empowerment coach. So today's video topic is all about fear, our old friend fear. I want to share a little bit about how fear has affected my life and just the amazing things that have manifested in my life since I've succumbed to fear. I've really sort of overcome it, and I'm now living my life from a much more authentic place. See, I've always been a very fearful person. I've always been a worrier. What if this happened? What if that happens? What if people laugh? What if people love it? What if I love it? What if I hate it? I come up with so many excuses as to why I wouldn't do things. But inside of me, this little voice longed to be set free. I'm going to talk about two big life changes for me. First up, the Amazon rainforest. So ever since I was a kid, ever since I knew what the Amazon rainforest was, I knew I wanted to go there. I think I saw David Attenborough presenting the wonderful animals of the Amazon on TV, and I just thought, wow, the lungs of our world, what a beautiful place. I have to go there, I have to experience it. And as I kind of grew up, I started to learn about plants and shaman and indigenous cultures, and I realized just how powerful this community was and how I really had to submerge myself into the jungle and experience it for myself. But I always listened to other people that hadn't done the things that I wanted to, and I allowed them to fuel my fear. So I didn't go. See, 2008, I really longed inside to go to the jungle, but I thought, I can't go on my own. What if something happens to me? What if I don't make it out alive? It was only last year, 2016, where I actually went to the jungle, and while I was there, I realized just how much I'd allowed fear to control my life and to control me. Another big thing for me was singing. So I've always loved to sing. I am a good singer. I'm not being egotistical there, but I genuinely do have a good singing voice. And I used to love to sing at school. I was always in the school choirs, always getting involved in school musicals, music clubs, that kind of thing. I studied GCSE music, and while I was recording my musical piece, which was The Power of Love by Celine Dion, I turned around at the end of my performance and a whole class had come out and they were watching in secret, and they was all clapping and cheering. To me, that was the most awful thing ever. I felt really vulnerable, really exposed, and I felt that they'd overstepped my boundaries. And from that moment, subconsciously, I made a pact with myself never to sing, because I almost felt like I was forced to sing. And little did I know that singing was such a huge part of my life, and I was blocking it. I then started to suffer from health issues. So I started to suffer from like hormone problems and problems with my periods, because I was blocking the creativity from coming out of me. So that was one area. So I'll flip back to the Amazon. So when I finally went to the Amazon last year, I realized just how much fear had been holding me back in my life. And I really kind of evaluated the things that I was telling myself to reason with myself why I shouldn't do things. And I really kind of thought, wow, what a bunch of amazing things I've missed out on because I'm too afraid. And the reason we don't do things is because we are afraid. We're afraid of humiliation. Everybody wants to be liked, everyone wants to be loved, everyone wants to be popular, and when we do something that we're afraid of, we risk becoming humiliated. And for a lot of people, it stops there. They'd rather regain the popularity, regain their pride, than put themselves out there. That's definitely what I did anyway. So ever since the jungle, I've really pushed myself into stepping into my fear. I am now singing regularly, and Every time I go and I learn a new piece, I kind of think to myself, oh, I can't sing that, it's so hard, that person's such an amazing singer, I'll never be able to sing it as good as them. And then at the end, I realise just how amazing I've made that sound, and I've put my own stamp on it. So I've got this great technique now which I use with fear. So I don't want fear to stop me from doing things in my life that I love. So as soon as I start to feel the fear, for me it manifests in the pit of my stomach. I start feeling that anxiety, that butterfly, that resistance. I kind of sit with it and I say, where is this coming from? What am I so afraid of? And then I ask myself, what is the worst thing that could happen to me right now? And then I just say, look, fear, I'm sorry. I know I've been your friend for a long time, but you've overstepped your welcome in my life. You're no longer welcome. And then I just do the thing that I'm scared of. And when you do it, when you force yourself to do something that you're afraid of, you get this amazing feeling of accomplishment and pride. And you just think, was that so bad? I mean, many things people are afraid of are things like public speaking, doing things alone. I hear this a lot. Traveling alone, singing, trying a new hobby. You know, the list goes on and on. We'd rather not risk the humiliation and the potential heartache, so we just don't do it. And that really, really affects our spirit, it affects our health, and we're just stopping ourselves from doing so many amazing things. So that's my question to you today. What is fear stopping you from doing? Is it talking to someone that you really like? Just go and talk to them. What's the worst that can happen? Is it going on holiday? You know, you might think, oh, I really want to go on holiday, but I don't have anyone to go with. Go by yourself, seriously. You will have the best time ever, and you'll really force yourself out of your comfort zone, and you will grow as a person, and it will make you realise that you never need to rely on anybody else again. Is it learning a language? You know, you might think, oh God, I can't do that, it's too hard. Or dancing or singing like me. See, not all fear is bad. Some fear we need. So the fear that tells you to get away from a bad situation, the fear that tells you that something's not right with a particular person, trust that. Also the fear that says get away from the edge of the road, that's a good fear. That's your body's intelligence telling you that something's wrong. I'm talking about the kind of fear that stops us from doing things that we really want to do deep down. I mean, if you ask yourself, you know, talk to the fear that you're having, say, what is the feeling behind it? And I can pretty much guarantee that you really want to do it, but that risk of humiliation is stronger than the will to do it. So that's what you've got to do. You've got to flip it by really asking yourself, what's the worst thing that can happen, and how good am I going to feel once I get this done? See, for me it's happened in so many situations in my life. I was scared of travelling alone to China to trek the Great Wall. Best thing I ever did. I was afraid to go to New Zealand because I knew how much I'd love it and I'd never want to come home. That's a crazy reason, right? I was too afraid to go to the Amazon jungle because I knew how much of a dramatic change it would have in my life, and I needed someone else to go with me, that I didn't do it. I was afraid to sing because I didn't want to humiliate myself. I was afraid to dance because I didn't want to look stupid. See, all those things that I was afraid of doing, I did, and I've had the most amazing experience in doing those. So yes, any questions, any comments, anything you would like to share, any stories where you've overcome your fear, please let me know. And really do something today that your future self will thank you for. I promise you, you'll feel amazing.